Well, another wait that's continuing is that of Oscar Pistorius. He will remain in jail after a decision to grant him parole was delayed. The sprinter has been fighting a lengthy battle to be released early from prison. South Africa's Parole Review Board, the final recourse for parole disputes, met to determine whether Pistorius should be allowed out on house arrest. But this decision has now been postponed. The Paralympian was sentenced last year to 5 years in prison for killing model and law graduate Riva Steenkamp on Valentine's Day 2013, the culmination of a trial that attracted global headlines. He was found guilty of culpable homicide. Well, for more on Pistorius' parole, C.S. du Plessis now joins us live in Johannesburg. C.S., Oscar remains in jail despite pushing for parole quite aggressively. Do we know what's informed the decision to keep him behind bars?
Well, this whole process started in June, of course, when the parole board, the review board sat and they discussed whether or not Oscar Pistorius should be considered for parole. They then announced on the 21st of August that Pistorius would go out and be under house arrest for that sort of remainder of his sentence. And under South African law, any offender that has served a sixth of their sentence is eligible for consideration for parole. But 2 days before August the 21st, the Justice Minister, Michael Masuta, came out and said it's been premature. They're not going to release him on parole just yet. They will reconvene in the future. And they did again yesterday, and they sat down, and the chairperson of the Parole Review Board, Judge Lucy Maimula, she basically said that she agreed with the Justice Minister and that it was premature, and they've in fact now set aside his parole consideration. So it's unclear of when they will sit again to discuss when Oscar Pistorius could be released on parole. But it is quite interesting that he has already served a sixth of his sentence. It's almost a year now that he's been in jail. So interesting times, but it all boils down to the fact that Oscar Pistorius is going to face more time behind bars, particularly that that appeal from the state is coming on the 3rd of November in the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein. So he might still be behind bars then.
Well, CS, one of the things that's emerged from the meeting of the parole board is that Oscar Pistorius must now undergo psychotherapy. Now, just tell us why, according to them, that he should undergo this process.
Well, the chairperson of that parole review board, she said that she thinks Oscar Pistorius should undergo this psychotherapy for the criminogenic factors involved in committing the crime. So they want to ascertain why exactly it led to him committing this crime, why exactly he shot through the door, not knowing who was behind there, and the consequences behind that. So they want to get to that. It can also still happen while he is under correctional supervision. So that is an order now from the Parole Review Board that want to find out what is going on in Oscar Pistorius' mind, why he got into that position and why he fired the shots through the door. So I think they're trying to ascertain why exactly it happened and how it can possibly help his rehabilitation in correctional supervision at this stage. But I think it's very clear that he's going to be sitting there for a while now, and unfortunately for Oscar Pistorius, he's going to spend more time behind bars, more than he expected. And even now, his defense has come out and said he can't afford a new trial, or can he mentally afford to go through that trauma again.
All right, thank you very much for that update. C.S. du Plessis speaking to us live from Johannesburg.